So welcome everyone. Before we start, let's just take a short moment of silence to ingather, bring our mind back home in the body, and invoking Mother and Sri Aurobindo's presence. So we have to start today on this page, page number 78 of Integral Healing. And last time we had started upon this section of Sanitation and Health, which was quite revelatory. And that section continues further. And now we have another question to the mother, which is even so, there are microbes in water. So regarding health, hygiene, and sanitation. So let us go through this. It's a little bigger one. Let's see. Yeah, so anybody would like to read? Please unmute and go ahead.
Yes. Even so, there are microbes in water. I have seen here in this country village people who had nothing to drink but water that was no longer water. It was mere mud. I have seen it with my own eyes. It was yellowish mud in which cows had bathed and done all the rest, and people had waded through it after walking on the roads. They threw their rubbish there and everything was in it. And then I saw these people. They entered it. It was yellow mud. And there at the end, there was a little bit of water. It was not water. It was yellowish. They bent over, collected this water in their palms and drank it. And there were some who did not even let it settle. Some knew what to put in it. The herbs needed to make it settle, and it becomes a little clearer if it is left long enough. But there were some who knew nothing at all and drank it as it was. I found out that there was an epidemic of cholera just then in the surrounding area, and I said, there are people still alive in that village with such water. I was told we do not have a single case of cholera. They had become immune. They were used to it. But if a single one of them had caught it by chance, probably all would have died, because then fear would have entered, and due to the fear, they would have had no more resistance, for they were poor, miserable things. Should I continue or stop?
I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, read one more, maybe.
Yes. There are sadhus, you know, who accept filthy living conditions out of saintliness. They never wash themselves. They do nothing that hygiene demands. They live in a truly filthy condition and they are free from all illness, probably because they have faith and they do it purposely. Their morale is magnificent. I'm speaking of the sincere people and not those who pretend. They have faith. They do not think of their body, they think of the life of their soul. They have no illness. There are some who come to a state in which an arm or a leg or some part of the body has become completely stiff due to their ascetic posture. They cannot move anymore. Anyone else would die under such conditions. They continue to live because they have faith, because they do it purposely, because it is something they have imposed on themselves.
Thank you. We'll pause here and read maybe the next. So maybe we can, I don't know, I'm so confused. Okay, we can pause here. Yeah, so it's quite crystal clear what is being said here in this passage. Yeah, so if there are any reflections, anything, happy to take reflections or anything.
This reminds me of, yes, please go on. Sorry.
No, please come on.
Okay.
Okay. Um, yeah.
Yeah,
So
please.
this reminds me of the children in Africa. I've read it one time. They have HIV, AIDS there. So there are children and there are young, like there are teenagers who have HIV in them, yet it does not affect them at all. Like they are able to heal their, injuries and they are able to live a normal life. And I guess they were tested or something, and they found that their bodies have developed immunity for HIV, like towards HIV. So this falls right under the same.
Yeah, beautiful. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes, Juan, please go ahead.
No, one thing I love of Mother and Sri Aurobindo when they put examples is like she's obviously not encouraging anyone to do such an ascetic thing, nor she says this is wrong. Like she's just exposing, a lot of different things that can happen, and just open your mind. She will probably tell a disciple to take a medicine in some cases, and in other ones, maybe not. Like it's not to make a dogma or to say this is what you have to do and this is what you don't have to do. It's like she's opening the our view. It's amazing. No.
Yes, thank you. Yes, very true. Very true. Very true. I think that's what Mother says, that everything in this world has a proper place. So what you were sharing, that they show us their proper place, whatever things they are referring to, and everything has a proper place. Yeah, true, and it expands the mind a lot. Otherwise, we fall into this game of I am right and those are wrong. You know, but we see that everything has contextual proper place. Anything more here? Anyone? So I feel that this is also, since again mother, I think here is, at least here in this one, is referring to Indian context, uh, Indian conditions. We see that in India it is very palpable. This Yes, so first of all, there is so much of population, and of course, there is a disparity in economic strength, which is there in other countries also, but here more so because it's like more palpable on our face. So maybe there would be like a big palace or a building belonging to a very filthy rich person, and outside that building itself there would be people living on streets and eating on streets and eating whatever comes on their way, and on that dust is there, dirt is there, but they are, just eating it and surviving day after day. So yeah, I feel that India, especially this context, it kind of hits us on the face, and I don't know, maybe grounds us also, that things are taken care of, because we from time to time feel that, especially when people from India go outside, they get used to a certain kind of whatever. Maybe they think that it's more elitist, or only drinking packaged water, and all these kind of things, because again there is this fear implanted somewhere. We have not done it consciously, but this gets, just unconsciously we get kind of take it in, that since outside it is purer and better and everything, at times also our kind of mental formations. So in India, it is more like filth and dirt is there open on our face. So I may get sick if I drink water from anywhere at all. So that's why preferring packaged water. Now, not knowing that packaged water itself has also lots of disadvantages. It is full of microplastics. Packaged water is full of microplastics, and not only packaged water, everything which is mostly, it's just microplastics have entered everywhere. They're everywhere. So we can't escape it now. And the other thing is that microplastics also interfere with the hormones that we have in the body. So they do lots of stuff which we are not aware of. So I just see this little bit of thing, and I believe that this is true, and I just follow that. And again, yeah, we try to, no matter how hard we try to protect ourselves, when death has to come, it has to come. So I think it's good to live free of fears of death, and trying to always protect this little me, and nothing should happen to me and my family. I think it's lots of anxiety and worry that we live with, rather than really living like moment to moment. And okay, if time comes, I'm ready to go at any moment of time. No need to protect. I think that would be some kind of a faith in universe, that yes, the whole universe is for us and not against us. But again, as Joan was sharing, that each thing has its proper place, and reason has its proper place also. But at times we just are too rigid even in our reasoning. So reasoning also, we don't use it actually very sharply and penetratingly, because otherwise, even through reasoning, if I see what am I doing, it would not make sense. Talking about this packaged water or open water, it would actually not make sense. But we don't use it. We stop at the reasoning where it suits my beliefs and ideas, and then we say that okay, rest is we don't want to talk about it maybe. So it's interesting. We are very interesting creatures.
And as you said, sometimes the more advanced civilized thing is even worse. In the 70s, there was a doctor who had to live in some African villages, and he found out that the rates of cancer and other diseases like that were very, very, very low in comparison with United States. And then he started to investigate, and well, the thing is, well, they just ate very simple food, raised there in the village. They had nothing of, you know, of the modern world. We can eat whatever we want in whatever amount we want, and then, you know, take some tropical fruits and eat them in a non-tropical place where they are not meant to be eaten. So the response was they just ate natural, you know, regional food, and that was the answer to don't have the diseases that the modern world has, and we are spending millions of dollars like trying to develop something very complicated to resolve our rates of diseases, and maybe the answer is much simpler sometimes.
Yeah, very true. And we see this as actually this is how we label things in our modern context, that we, if there are more hospitals in a place, actually we call it more developed. Have you heard that? You know, that this place is now developed, it has two big hospitals, you know, that's what we say. While actually I would say that it's actually a symbol of our de-advancement, that we need to have, you know, just like you were sharing, that the more we disconnect from the local regional, you know, kind of nature, the more we are actually in need of hospitals, because we have cut ourselves off from what is natural and suitable to that particular climate and weather and everything. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, so if there is anything more, please keep sharing and just see what can we pick up. So a lot of faith we see here in this context, and also we see that almost kind of a choicelessness, because if I'm living in a condition where uh, things are how they are and I don't have any access to any different variety of water, I have to drink, I get thirsty. Now this is the only water I have it in front of, you know, me, and there is trust that if it is in front of me, it must be suitable, you know. But the more complicated we have uh, kind of lifestyles we have, then we become aware of, acha, you know, this is also my possibility. Oh, I can get that water also, that water also. So let me choose the best, you know. So I feel that when we are in a choiceless condition, I think there also there is faith, because there is no other option. uh, I don't have the money also to get to other things. Plus, there also is no knowledge to be fearful of. So, knowledge also at times makes us fearful, because we are not having control over our minds. So, if I have a little bit of knowledge, not the whole absolute knowledge, but a little bit of knowledge, I have read this and that, okay, this germ causes that disease and that germ causes this illness. So, this is half knowledge, you know. It's not the absolute knowledge of all the things like ultimate reality. But this half knowledge actually makes my mind fear more, because I don't know the absolute, but I'm believing in the relative very rigidly. The absolute, if we look at the absolute, of course, I'm not saying that I know the absolute, but if we go towards the absolute, where we see that the spirit is the ultimate, you know, and the spirit is immortal and it can never die, and, you know, going again to the quantum physics, and we see that actually these particles are not really particles, they are appearing to be particles. So it means I am giving force to anything I am believing in. If I am believing in that this water is good for me, or, you know, fine for me, and there is no trace of fear or doubt, no trace, because, you know, even if there is one trace of doubt, it is better I should not actually be drinking that water. But when there is no trace and no doubt, then I've been doing it for many years and I'm completely fine. But the moment doubt comes, the mind, it takes it up and it becomes fearful, and then it goes downward. While for years I was using it and there was nothing, no problem, but somebody came with half knowledge and they said that, oh, this what you are using, it's not very healthy or whatever. The moment you think like that, and it just begins to go downward for us. We have seen that in our lives. So it's very interesting how we think that outer things are responsible for my condition, but actually it is not the outer things, but how I relate with the outer things. What am I thinking about the outer so-called things? And if the thinking shifts, if the attitude shifts, as faith comes, if an absolute certainty and certitude about universe is for me, not against me, that comes, then things can change and do change at times. So it is just very interesting, and again can be discussed on various levels, contemplated upon. And I think the point is that how do I, now if I see that yes, there are fears in me and insecurities in me that I'm not taken care of, and anything can happen to me any point of time, then how do we make this journey of now completely being a child of the universe, knowing that I'm taken care of? How do we make that journey forward? How, and I feel that one aspect of this I can see is that totally being carefree and having no hopes, no fears from the earthly existence, and giving ourselves to some work, living a little more selflessly, where now you don't need to care about your existence anymore. There is somebody else who looks after you more and more, because if you are doing something for, and not only people who are doing, in general also people are taken care of, each one is contributing in some aspect of life. But if we live more selflessly and maybe offer ourselves to the world more, then we have nothing to protect, because if time comes, we are ready to go away. If time is not there, then we are offering and we are serving. So in that sense I feel that also one can get rid of fears and insecurities of protecting ourselves and trying to fend for ourselves. This obsessive focus on myself just takes it all away, or gives all the burden to me.
My ego even find another level, another layer of these worries. Like when I'm thinking, when I'm feeling that I can just give myself and don't worry much about me, uh, the fear of who will take care of my family comes. And things like that. Like, okay, we have a new challenge. It's my case, right? Really.
Yeah, yeah. I think I have, of course, I can empathize what you are sharing, but I feel that there is, now if we look deeply, and if at least for myself I am able to say that I am taken care of, because the life as it has been unfolding for me, I see that it has only given me growth of consciousness, no matter through how hard challenges have come my way. So if we look at that, then how is it possible that people around me or my family, same will is not happening for me, for those people also? So I see that there is a lot of doership, as if I know what is uh, good for them or the best for them, and I am the one who is fending for them. But when that we look into it and we see that, am I fending for myself, or is it everything being provided and life has been unfolded? So when we see that life has been unfolding in front of me, even without my doership, then wouldn't it be that it is unfolding for them also? So logically speaking, even that appears actually true, but we don't look at it because we like doership. It makes us feel like we are important, all of us want to be important, that if I am not there, what would happen, like that. And it is very difficult to be a nobody, that actually even if you are not present, everything is going to go fine. It's very difficult to be there, but it's possible. Now looking at that, people like Mother Teresa, Jesus Christ, all these people who we think very, very important people who have done so much for the society, now they are gone and life still goes on. And I think that if I am gone, life will come to a halt for people around me. How is that possible?
That's great.
So it's
Totally agree.
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
In fact, I understand. I truly understand how my the difficulties in my life and the pain uh, was a grace. It's something that really hurt me, uh, and 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 I understand that this is happening also in everyone's life. It's it's like I can relate it to the Arjuna trying to do the battle and recoiling. It's like I understand that this grace is operating in everyone. And, it's just like something more like emotional
Yes,
in some place. I want to I would like to in some way I would like the others not to suffer, although I understand that the suffering has a reason and it's
mm,
for good.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
something not wise.
yeah, true that, true that. Something not wise, very true. And also, I think, along with me not wanting the other people to suffer, there also, as you yourself only said, that if I have seen that my own suffering in my life has made me more strong and has given me more maybe growth, then how is it possible that it cannot happen with the other people? So I feel that along with this goodwill that we have uh, for other people who are our loved ones, we also have a sense of uh, importance of this little self that I call as myself. Because if I'm not bothering about people, if I'm not seeing that, oh, I have to be there for them, then I am actually a nobody, and it's very difficult for me to believe that I am not important at all, that I am dispensable, in other words. It's hard to actually fathom it, because those people around us who we call as our loved ones, they have at times made us very important. We feel very important, we have meant something to them. And now suddenly if I say that actually there is no need for me in being in your life is unfolding in your own way, it's actually a very big challenge. So I think that is why they say love is courage, because it takes a lot of courage to step back and uh, not interfere in these journeys of our loved ones. It's lots of courage that is required. That's what I can see. We are very interesting creatures, and we are saying something else, and we are doing things which are not actually in accordance with those things that we are saying. So that's why I think later on in integral healing we'll come to the subconscious aspect also, how we are ruled by these patterns and we never check them. We never question these patterns, and we never actually look at our own self and see, okay, I'm saying this, but is my action in accordance with what I'm saying? So for example, if I'm saying I love you, but the way I am behaving is not really I love you, because if I have love for you, then I would allow you to grow and allow you to expand and allow you to, grow in strength. I would not want to be possessive about you and not letting you grow and not letting you, just wanting you to belong to me. But that's what we do in name of love. You know? So, yeah, it's just that we don't look at it. I feel that when we make this statement, I love you, actually, we don't fathom it that what am I saying and how am I acting. There is a lot of discord between both of them. We don't know what true love is. We think that love is insecurity and love is possession and love is always being together. But is that love? Like, we have to question. Yeah, so I don't know how we went to this glass of water, from this glass of water to love, but it's okay. Yeah, anything more here? Anyone? Yes.
Yeah, this shallowness or this opposite of truth, whatever it is, I feel I see it like I've seen it so much in me. Once I remember we went to Gnostic Center and I shared with you that, there were some things which were being sun dried. And I said that, I cannot imagine consuming this. Like, it's sitting there in the sun with mitti and insects and birds all around. But tomorrow, when I find this for 500 rupees in a glass bottle which says Gnostic Center, I'll be like, wow, let me get four of those. So it's very weird how shallow one can be, although thinking one is very authentic and connected to nature, and yet we don't see how things like, I don't know, so many examples for me that how, in the name of, say, hygiene, health, providing better. I mean, the things that I have done for myself and the child, like it shocks me that, oh my God, and of course, more to come. But just like, just too much shallowness, too much, I don't know, running towards what looks good, rather than what is the source and how is it truly affecting. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I think that is why we pay also so much and ready to pay, because since we are fools, so there are enough people, fooling us because we are ready to be fooled. Because I believe in that outer shine or gloss of the paper. So that thing which I can actually home make and dry at my on my terrace, if there is a terrace, or get it like from that, like directly sourcing it from vendor. Since I don't believe in that and I have more belief in that shiny and glossy paper, then of course I am fooled and I pay thousands of bucks for again the same material which I could directly source or procure. So, yeah. Then we earn more because of that, because I have to buy better stuff, which is better according to me. And then we earn more, and for earning we do all kind of atrocities on ourselves, that because I have to fend for myself and provide good quality of lifestyle and food and everything, let me earn more. So yeah, it is quite interesting, the web that we create. Okay, so let's go through the last, maybe the paragraph, and then we can read it all again at once, the whole bit. So I'll just maybe go through the last bit and then somebody else can go through the whole bit again. So therefore, the moral condition of people is much more important than the physical. If you were in surroundings where everyone was clean and you went for 3 days without taking a bath, you would get sick. This is not to say that you should not take baths, because we do not want to be sadhus, we want to be yogis. It is not the same thing. And we want the body to take part in the yoga. So we must do whatever is necessary to keep it in good shape, However, this is to tell you that the moral condition is much more important than the physical. So, Mother is sharing with us the crux of the matter, where we are inwardly. That is more important. And I think Kabir ji has given a lot of kataksh and lots of couplets on this, that you are taking bath several times a day, but your mind is remaining filthy and dirty. So he has said too much about these things because there maybe he was in those times where people were too much into these brahmanistic rituals, and I am a brahman and this I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and take a shower, or dip myself in the Ganges, and then I am pure, not seeing the quality and state of our inward mind, that we keep judging people, criticizing people, and belonging to, kind of believing in caste and creed and everything. Other people are inferior, I am superior. So I think there he has said enough through his couplets and bhajans that this is not working. This does not work. So he says in one of the songs, he says that, yeah, something like, can't remember exactly, but something like your inside condition is like a fish which is smelling, and outside you are decked up and everything is prim and proper. So he shows us our inside space, which we often forget in the outside. Yes, but Mother shares that each of these things has its proper place. So it's not that we don't have to take care of the outer cleanliness or the body or the surroundings. It's just that inward cleanliness is the most important, more important than the physical. But we are not going to discard the physical or our surroundings. They also need a sense of beauty, a kind of sense of harmony and agility in the body, alertness in the body, and taking care of the body in all the possible manners possible, uh, rather than just making ourselves perfumed and and then it's done. I'm ready for the day. So yeah, inward cleanliness and outer cleanliness both have to be considered in integral yoga. Kind of respecting the instrument that we have for the work. So any comments here? We can read the whole bit again and we see if there is anything. Yeah, would anyone want to read?
So we're just reading this again, right? That's what you're saying?
Yes, the whole thing at once. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'll go. Even so, there are microbes in water. Mother says, I have seen here in this country village people who had nothing to drink but water that was no longer water. It was mere mud. I have seen it with my own eyes. It was yellowish mud in which cows had bathed and done all the rest, and people had waded through it after walking on the roads. They threw their rubbish there, and everything was in it. And then I saw these people. They entered it. It was yellow mud, and there at the end there was a little bit of water. It was not water, it was yellowish. They bent over, collected this water in their palms, and drank it. And there were some who did not even let it settle. Some knew what to put in it, the herbs needed to make it settle, and it becomes a little clearer if it is left long enough. But there were some who knew nothing at all and drank it as it was. I found out that there was an epidemic of cholera just then in the surrounding area, and I said, There are people still alive in that village with such water. I was told we do not have a single case of cholera. They had become immune, they were used to it. But if a single one of them had caught it by chance, probably all would have died, because then fear would have entered, and due to the fear, they would have had no more resistance, for they were poor, miserable things. There are sadhus, who accept filthy living conditions out of saintliness. They never wash themselves, they do nothing that hygiene demands. They live in a truly filthy condition, and they are free from all illness, probably because they have faith and they do it purposely. Their moral is magnificent. I am speaking of sincere people and not those who pretend. They have faith. They do not think of their body, they think of the life of their soul. They have no illness. There are some who come to a state in which an arm or a leg or some part of the body has become completely stiff due to their ascetic posture. They cannot move anymore. Anyone else would die under such conditions. They continue to live because they have faith, because they do it purposely, because it is something they have imposed on themselves. Therefore, the moral condition of people is much more important than the physical. If you were in surroundings where everyone was clean and you went for 3 days without taking a bath, you would get sick. This is not to say that you should not take baths, because we do not want to be sadhus, we want to be yogis. It is not the same thing. And we want the body to take part in the yoga. So we must do whatever is necessary to keep it in good shape. However, this is to tell you that the moral condition is much more important than the physical.
Thank you. We have this example of Ramana Maharishi when he was meditating before he became what he was, Ramana Maharishi, when he was meditating as a young adult. We have stories that there were ant hills in his body, and his body was eaten, and there were many sores which actually till the time he left the body they did not really completely went away, they did not go away. So, and he was just totally undisturbed by whatever was happening to the body. So mother says that that is not what we want here in this yoga, that the body should be left unattended, although it serves some or the other purpose in some kinds of yoga, but not in this one, because here the body needs to be maintained well so that it can long last and do lots of divine work. And we see that here with mother's integral education, where mother puts a lot of emphasis on taking good care of the body and keeping it active and agile. And no matter whether you are 70, 75 or more, people take care of their body. Pranab Da, we have the example, one of the foremost in physical discipline, that until the end point of where he was 80 or maybe I don't know more, he was doing his regular exercises, which took 1 to 2 hours in his own private gym that he had in his room. So that is also our possibility, and not to think that if the body is aging, then it's now my time to go. I've seen, like we see with Tara Didi here, in Delhi ashram, that even at this age of 87, where the body may be kind of giving up a little here and there, but the spirit is so alive that she really it keeps everyone going. So that is also our possibility when the work is not for this little self, and it's a greater quality of work, and you're not living for your own self and your own happiness and pleasure, but there is some greater task at hand. for which one lives. So there I think one can also get a lot of motivation that अभी तो बहुत बचा है, अभी तो बहुत काम बचा है, अभी तो बहुत काम बचा है, and it keeps us kind of going in a meaningful manner. You know. So anything more here, anyone? And this immunity part also we had discussed it earlier when we started with sanitation and health, that this part, that they had become immune, they were used to it. So I think this is very important, because right now we were talking about it last time, that the more and more we sanitize our environment and make it unnaturally clean, it actually comes back on us, and then we have not any immunity, because the body does not recognize those friendly germs which are there all the time. It recognizes them as, oh my god, something very harmful, because it has not seen it usually. And now when it sees it unusually, then it uh, kind of mounts a very strong immune response, which we call as allergy, or other kind of things like inflammation. So it just overreacts to a friendly neighbor, like how we would do, if we overreact to a friendly neighbor or his talk, we would be agitated, and not knowing or not believing that, oh, it's a friendly talk, it's a friendly neighbor. So the more body gets used to seeing all these germs around, the more it becomes used to them, and it sees them as a natural part of environment, and not as something to which I have to mount a lot of defense, and I have to fight it out, and this is a germ which can kill me, not like that. So if we can take care of at least this bit, and keep ourselves more natural, and not use much of these soaps also, I think too much use of soaps etc is not very good, because it removes the natural kind of germs, which are healthy germs on our body, which are good for our body, healthy flora and fauna, which is required for our body. So it's like we make it naked first, by washing it excessively with too much soap or detergent or anything. So we make it first bare and naked and more vulnerable, like एक skin की layer आपने उसके ऊपर से हटा दी, and then of course it is more prone to an illness, the skin or in general the body. So yeah, these are some things which we can, yeah, sure, yeah, bye bye Jagan, we can take care of. Yes. Yeah, so any more things, anything, anyone, any last comments? Yes.
In addition to, I mean, what you were just saying, that first we do this, 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 and then the ad says that do it because you're worth it. That's the best part. We are made to believe that this is the highest we can do because we can afford it and we are worth it, not realizing what we are doing.
Yeah, true. And we all want to be worth it. So here we go. So we can end here today, and next bit we'll just take it up in the next session only, which is getting rid of fear now, a new section. So before we end, let's take a moment of silence to maybe share and dedicate merit, collected and individual merit, sharing it with all the sentient beings near and far. May we all have true happiness and causes for true happiness, and may we all have no suffering, and the causes of suffering may also be removed from us. May we not suffer. May we all be truly well and happy. I think we start here today. Thank you.